This is Dan Max at EXPI Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is a live chat for Thursday, October 13th, 2022. Let me get a mic check. I want to jump right into it because the markets are moving fast. I want to talk about the mind, people's emotions, this belief of how the market works versus how they want things to work, how trading is always, what I would say, enlightening. There's always something to be learned. There's always something you need to do to grow. There is always a lesson to be learned. So let me get a mic check. Hopefully people are surviving. I was going to do it right at the open, but again, I didn't anticipate the big a flop that we got to open. But seeing a lot of divergences, seeing a lot of interesting activity, want to talk about it all, again, from my perspective of how I think and know how the market makers work versus the retail panic mindset or the retail reactionary mindset. Because I think you're about to see some things that are going to boggle your mind. Look at even JP Morgan up $2 right now. This is funny. Anyway, give it a minute. If you got some questions, I'm going to just kind of get going here. I'd like some people to file in. As of right now, it's slow moving. I imagine people are still watching their charts, trying to figure out what's going on. But that's the goal here, is to try to enlighten. You know, it's not to discourage. I think a lot of people in the Discord room today just blew my mind. And this is what I was like, I got to get on here at some point. But I needed people to do what they need to do in the first hour, amateur hour, get to work. Let the nat gas numbers come out, because that's one of our bigger plays. My bigger plays, personally. Expecting it to pop. But just the market. Want to talk about the market. Oh, Nelly. All right. Let me sip on some coffee and I'm going to get into it. Because this whole mindset of what the masses are doing and traps, that's where I'm going to start. Because the first thing I said in the Discord room, and I say it a lot when I think there's a trap happening, the first direction in a trap is what? It's the side getting trapped. Does this make sense? Like, think about it. To bait a trap, you have to lure someone in to trap them. By taking the market down at the open, as heavy as they did, as strong as they did, what do you think bears did? Right? All in short. What do you think bulls did? Blech. Puked. They lost their lunch. Probably, I guess, breakfast more like. They lost their breakfast. They capitulated, right? So one is the first thing that you know going into a trap is you try to identify the levels. You try to anticipate this, but if the VIX is, what did the VIX get up to? 30, man, it only got up to like 34. I think after hours, even 33, 34. Didn't really confirm this down move. And then, again, this is where I'm going to talk about the anomalies. People are like, oh, you're just dead wrong. Well, I've said this actually 1,000 times. Laggards are lagging. Don't buy tech. Look at commodities for your trades up. Now, again, some of them are going to be better than others. Again, I don't know why people said, all right, I'm jumping into GDXJ or gold this morning. That was not one of the things I added once this morning. And maybe I might here in a little bit if it comes back. But it's pretty interesting just to think about traps, because if you understand them and you've lived through them from the perspective that I'm trying to explain to folks, you become hard as nails. You think about the market like war. Like those who are willing to act decisively under duress win the battle. It's the people who just lose their lunch, freak out, and do exactly what everyone else is doing. They get mowed down. They run into the battlefield with the freaking guns blazing and they get mowed down. And so again, you have to experience that. Maybe this is your first time seeing that. And I'm telling you right now, like, the CPI data came in equivalently even to what they're expecting. Literally equivalent to what they're expecting. Market dropped, what is it? S&P dropped a whopping, 8-9 points. Or SPY at the open. on data that was basically in line, right? Now, no one's saying inflation's gone, hence why we like commodities. We don't like tech. Tech doesn't like inflation. I've said that about as many times as I can say without yelling it and screaming it. I mean, even Lupus is telling me, please don't share these little insights with people. He's like, you got to keep this to the board only. And it's like, no, I genuinely feel like I should be helping people here when it comes to these little things. I apologize if that's not what people want me to do, but that's my goal. Man, Micron is up. Jesus. Morgan Stanley's up. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just watching all these names turn from red to green, thinking first move down was a trap. Okay, so if you know that's the start of a trap, think about what? Sentiment? What's the sentiment? Everybody's bearish. I mean, everybody YOLOing puts, right? We talked about the nominal amount of puts expiring next week is wild. It's absolutely wild. Do you think the market makers want to pay off those puts? Do you think the powers that be will not try to manufacture up, just like they can manufacture panic? You know, they'd let you walk right into this trap, shorting the lows or selling the lows. No, again, even some of tech is popping back. Sorry, I'm just laughing as I see this stuff. The reason why I'm a little annoyed, though, is like, again, when I talk about this stuff, especially in the Discord room, if you're a follower and you've watched these videos, this stuff should be primed in your brain. And if it's not, ask questions. So going forward now, we know what? Midterm election. We know central banks are getting what? Antsy. They're not sure. Markets in turmoil, right? They can't obviously push commodity prices down. Russia's got checkmate, right? This war has created supply issues, and then you have global institutions, governments trying to what? Get rid of oil and gas, try to get off traditional sources of power and energy and manufacturing. I mean, whatever. Now you've created supply chain issues. Now it used to be bottlenecks, but now it's just literally, we're going to stop manufacturing this stuff. And technically, I think that's the same thing kind of thing, but it's like, it was a labor issue. Now it's like a government issue. So we'll see what happens here. Now, you have to be very thoughtful about shorting the lows. Now, again, if you shorted tech and you made a ton of, hats off to you. I mean, I don't get jealous when I miss moves. And I tell you, like, why aren't you short more tech? I just don't chase. If you've been in my position doing this for 20 years and you get burned chasing 90% of the times, what do you stop doing? You stop chasing. Now, I'm glad it worked for folks. Again, because I anticipated these things to go lower. I just didn't think they'd go this low this fast. But now what? You got to be careful. We are going into earnings. Pepsi, Walgreens, Delta, all guided above and beat. GDP is 0.7% negative. The markets are down almost 30% off their highs. Knowing what we know, is GD accelerating down as we speak? I would say right now we are going to be stuck in this mode of inflation, low GDP, stagflation. If you go look at the 70s, the market got very volatile. I think the only way the market takes the next leg lower, I'm calling the capitulation is happening as we speak. Money is rotating. To get the capitulation to take oil, gas, commodities, everything down, the Feds have to go to the next level of tightening. They have to go full on. We are not going to, they're anticipating to stop tightening first quarter next year, right? They have to say, well, we got to keep rates higher for longer. You are not going to get any of this information until when? After the midterms, right? The next Fed meeting. I think it's November something. It's after elections. Mid-November. Knowing that, going from now until then, the market's being down, do you think Fed governors want to be blamed for a market implosion going into an election? Because Biden and the administration, again, Trump, it wouldn't matter who was the president. They would all do what? They would all say very loudly. It's Powell's fault. It's Powell's fault. It's not our fault. If you know this, and you know the midterm election cycle seasonality, usually you get rises in a bottoming October. Again, I still think it's a bear market. This is the thing. I am going long commodities because I anticipate these are the things that are going to rise, that put the Feds in the pickle to raise more later. That's what takes the market lower. That's my anticipation. Does this make sense? Is this very clear? Because again, we're trying to anticipate the moves. And I've said this 1,000 times. Tech hates higher rates. Tech hates inflation. Well, what is inflation? It's commodities rising, right? So when you look at CF, it's up 65 cents today. It was down like $1 or $2 at one point. Holding up. EQT, down $1 at one point. Ooh, nat gas, flat all day. Oil, barely down. XOP, ExxonMobil, rising all day off the lows, right? These are the names that we keep going to, right? Ag, steel, oil, gas, copper. I mean, I like gold, but it's not acting right. We'll see if it comes right back. It's lagging of all the group. But is this clear? Are the people who are listening, they understand what I'm anticipating? Because I feel like this is what's happened in the 70s. To get the market to actually give up on inflation, they had to go stupid. They had to get stupid. Now, near term, do the rates hold? I said this morning in the Discord room. Again, take notes of this stuff. Most people don't. I don't. Whatever. It's on you. I mean, I know when the bullets start flying, people don't pay attention. If bonds were sold off heavier, I would anticipate more follow through. Have we not seen bonds and the SPY basically run in tandem? I thought TLT, for example, would be at 96, 97. Where is it at? It's just under 100. Look at the SPY. Look at the IWM. I said the IWM has been leading. Sorry to pound it, but I'm saying the same things over, and I'm amazed how people hear things differently. But I'm not actually, because I get it. The market makes you see how you feel. Right? You feel scared? You're going to be scared. I try to explain to people how I stay pretty calm in all this because I have in front of me everything that I need to focus on. Not the price action, not what everyone's saying on Twitter, what everyone's saying on all this other crap. It doesn't matter. And again, I don't even post. I don't care. No, I'm not changing screen. I'm just talking, Jordan. I'm still ranting about the beginning because I want people to understand why the first move down was a trap. Now, again, it's popping back. Anyone chasing it, screaming the buys at the lows. But now it pops back. People are like, oh, I want to buy this. I don't know. It could be a little volatile. Remember, the first dip usually gets, the first bounce gets sold. The first pop gets dropped. You know what I mean? So I just want people to realize that. Learn something. If you screwed this up, and again, there's people in my Discord like Roth of Khan. I love this guy, but what the fuck is he talking about? And I usually don't cuss. How could you not use this opportunity to buy the names that you think are going to go up? Or if you're short, think like the market makers. I apologize for the language. It just boggles my mind. I can't say I'm waiting till Monday to do something. I'm waiting till next Thursday to do something. The CPI is passed. There is no more data that I'm worried about. What is next week? I'll go look it up just to double check. Honestly, it's earnings. And the earnings results have been good. Look at Pepsi. Look at some of these names. They're literally rallying. They're all rallying. Something is up, y'all. Yeah, next week is a nothing week of data. Nothing week. The most important stuff will be housing starts and permits on Wednesday. Existing home sales. There's a bunch of housing data, which is probably going to come out bearish because we know people are panicking. I know housing market in California and all the tech land, their prices are dropping like a rock. God, look at that. EQT about to go green. All right. Point being is if you're going into earnings, certain companies, now again, GDP negative 0.7 is not a massive destruction. I don't see GDP increasing to decelerating. Because if it was oil and gas, commodities, demand destruction, these things would not be holding up. You have to remember that. The strongest things will drop when the market is ready to drop. Is this crystal clear? Nothing is safe. When things, this is why I was telling them this one, so many anomalies. This has been very confusing because things that are acting strong are acting strong. I mean, the S&P just dropped like 30, 40 points, and there's things that literally haven't budged. Look at UNG, gone nowhere, nat gas. Oil popped up to 93 like we thought, backed off, upper 80s. Doesn't look terrible. CF, Mosaic, NTR, certain steel names, certain copper names. I was going to say gold until today. Commodity names, uranium, they're all holding up. Now, CCJ did their thing. They got beaten over the head. But the prices of this stuff, it's not looking like demand destruction, market flush. Because remember, when the market flushes and the VIX spikes, nothing's safe. Are we seeing that? I don't think so. Dollar down. Dollar back near the low of the day. Things that aren't bearish. But again, this is why trading can be so difficult. Because it's not the timing. I put out that video about retest, chop. The market can be tough. Any questions? Because I'm open mic it. Because I just went on this rant, and sometimes I think people just need to hear it. 16 minutes of just talking almost about the same thing, but you are what you listen to. If you assume that you are not affected by listening to CNBC and reading the bull crap that just when I say bull crap, all crap that floats on the internet, it's not possible. Your brain absorbs everything you hear. So choose your outlets wisely. Don't just listen to me. I never say that kind of stuff. But listen to the people that you trust. Or just read the headlines. Don't be going digging deep. Because again, who controls the market? Retail? Nope. The market makers. It's always the market makers. Your goal is to think like them. Your goal is to think like, how can I trick the most amount of people into losing the most amount of money all the time? That's my goal. Man, look at CF up $1.64. Any questions? I appreciate the interaction. Because if not, I'm just going to jump right into what I'm looking at. If someone really needs some help, please just ask a question. Not a problem. But maybe a lot of this stuff sinks in as I speak about it, and you're like, oh, crap. That makes sense, or this makes sense. The reason why I had the UNG up is because they had their the inventory numbers came out, held the low again. Bought more oil. Tried to get as much in the 47s as I could this AM. Still trying to get, which is interesting, not getting the data from briefing. Yes, USO looking like 46 on the table. 6 points. Let me pull it up. Hey, Kern. Hopefully you're doing well this morning. I can't believe you were buying EQT puts this morning. It's hedged. Yeah. It's really... Let me just pull up the USO. Here you go. It's sitting at a fib. Oh, okay. You didn't? Good. I was trying to figure out what you said. Maybe you sold puts? Oh, okay. Whatever. In the heat of it, I read it, and I was like, puts? What? No, please don't. But then I tried to get this started. I would probably watch, at worst. You see here this level, the 85 current? I think that's your max downside in oil. What do we get down to today? 85.64. Close enough for government work. Talk about the levels, right? Talk about the levels. Not surprised it backed off here. But look what UNG did the last 3 days. 4 days, 5 days, whatever. Flat. Tried to rally. Flat. Again, tickers. I know with the USO, but I hate charting the USO. It's the same thing as like trying. Sometimes even the UNG it can be a little difficult. It's just better to go to the futures. So, yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, it looks like it's popping, my friend. You know, we talk about multi-day ranges. Look at the close and the open. They're approximate, obviously, so that's where you want to watch where it happens. If it can close back in the body of yesterday's candle, bullish. Bearish if it closes below it. Pretty simple. UNG, nat gas inventory numbers came out, slightly smaller build. Again, below the 200-day, this is why charting the UNG isn't perfect. Instead, this looks very reminiscent of this game of chop. It's about to get cold next week. Now, again, I'm not the type of person that is going to recommend, I'm not trying to play weatherman, weather woman, weather friend. But if it is getting colder and the anticipation of natural gas is needed to heat, yeah, I can chart the UNG for you. I just haven't drawn on I just haven't really drawn on TradingView. If you look at the NG, it's the same looking thing. That's not it. Come on, not gas. Is it just NG? I'm trying to remember, right? Yeah. Here you go. Let's zoom out. Okay. I mean, I'm not surprised that it... I mean, I did the same thing with the UNG when I zoomed back. Let me try to draw. I forgot how to draw on TradingView. Does it look like there's support here? I know you're Tiger Woods, dude. I know you're changing your names. A lot of you guys are changing your names on the Discord room. It's funny. Yeah, it looks like it's holding pretty well. Now, we talked about head and shoulders top, double top. Now it's back at support. Yeah. Watch the levels. I mean, as the market is puking the last few weeks, this is tightening up. Tightening action implies what? Do y'all have a question? Yeah, anyone have a guess? Tightening action implies what? Tightening action implies what? Let me open it up. Tightening action implies what? Expansion in point, yes. Nice work, Curran. Yeah, exactly. Stopping power. Stopping power. Calcardia. Potential stopping power. So it gets really binary, right? It has to hold this. If it does, someone's accumulating. Yeah, support. Support is forming. Support, yeah, about to drop or pop, but anticipating based on what we're seeing with commodities. If money is rotating, right? If money's rotating, do you want to own semiconductors or natural gas? Like, think about the psychology of also the institutions that are basically retail dumb money with just bigger pockets. Do they want to keep buying Tesla, Apple? Because this is what I said months ago, that these companies become the ATMs of the market that will flow to commodities. They will flow. Remember, money is not destroyed. It rotates. Say that over and over and over again. The more money they pump into the market, the bigger the longer-term bull market in commodities. And you got to love commodities long-term, because when they bottom, all that liquidity, all these low, small market caps, think of trillion-dollar companies out there. And then think about tech companies, or not even trillion, but hundreds of billion-dollar. Then go look at some of these oil and gas names and commodity companies. They're all trading at $3, $10, $15, $25 billion. What happens when trillions of dollars needs a new home? Blah. What do you think is going to happen? Do y'all remember this stuff? I mean, this is where I cut my teeth trading. Like, I used to love letter X. Because also, when I used to live in Livermore, they used to talk about United States Steel, and it was like, oh, that was once popular. Look at this son of a biscuit in the 2003 bottom to 2008. $8 to $200. Is that a tech run or a tech run? Right? Whatever. You guys know. Anyone who's watched my video posted it literally in November. Who wins the tech war? Commodities. There's birthing pains. But it's gonna be commodities, y'all. Now again, what if we're wrong and this is like the Feds decide to pivot and the market rallies? I don't know. Huh, weird. oil and gas inventories came out today on the same day. I guess Columbus Day pushed things back, but I'm getting the oil numbers. If you're on the Discord room, I just posted it. All right, so back to the UNG real quick, and then I'll just move on to everything else. Because I want to show you guys the anomalies. And people are like, you're an idiot, you missed the down move. I missed the big down move in tech. I mean, no one's going to argue that. I'm not sitting here trying to play play Monday quarterback 2020 vision from behind. Like, I'm going to be wrong, or I miss things. Again, I don't chase. I don't chase. Sometimes that's a problem, but more times than not, it's kept me from getting my head chopped off. So nat gas, holding tight. What's our favorite nat gas? EQT. Doesn't even make a new low. Things that don't look bearish when it comes to particular stocks, right? Couldn't even take out Tuesday's lows. Do you guys see this? This is the anomalies I'm talking about. I'm going to show you them, okay? Right? Yeah, of course. I mean, any tech puts you should not have sold, obviously. Hindsight's 2020. But, I mean, I would have done the same thing. You never know going into the CPI. I mean, it literally came in just in line. So the reaction to me is kind of wild. Hence why I said I think this is a trap and we will go green at some point. Potentially today or on Monday will be higher. CF. Up $2. Did it take out the lows? Nope. It held the 20-day. Where's my man Jay Solstice? If I'm saying that right. Solstice. Look at that. Things that are nowhere near the lows. Nowhere near the lows. All reasons to puke and open the door to go lower. Bouncing right back. Right? Remember somebody tried to like short ExxonMobil? I said, you are suicidal. No, I'm looking at the weeklies. They all look fine. I agree. Someone said, oh, the market's pulling back. Look what it did all last week and the previous week. Then look what it did this morning. It opened at the point of control. Zing, right back up. Do you see how this is very confusing if you were bullish commodities? You're like, they're not even really getting affected. Tech sucks. Right? The IWM, right? We said the IWM leads every time. Every time. Is it making a new low? Is it making a new low? No. Look at today's action. I'm sorry. Doesn't look bearish. Now, if you shorted tech, again, hats off to you. No one's arguing that. Never once said, after we got stopped out of tech at the end of September, said leave it alone. And if some of you guys took that as short the crap out of it, golf clap. Awesome. Again, I'm not a hater. I don't get jelly. Okay? I mean, I'm just going to run through a few names real quick, right? Mosaic. Doesn't make a new low. Okay. NTR. Doesn't make a new low. Ripping right back. Letter X. People are saying I like steel. Made a slightly lower low, but still not at the lows. Holding. Floating back up. Yeah, bank earnings are tomorrow, y'all. Be careful. Look at today's action. Look at stupid JP Morgan with no buyback. Look at this. Makes a new low, like on the weekly. Holds the lows today. Zing right back. Things that aren't bearish. Morgan Stanley should be imploding, right? Opens down, zing right back. Nowhere near the June lows. Arrow, we like copper. Look at this. High and tight. I mean, I don't know what to tell folks. XOP. Look at this. Doesn't even take out yesterday's lows. When you're watching stuff in the morning, why do you guys think I have an extra screen? It's a 24-inch screen dedicated to tickers so I can watch everything all the time. Because if I look just at the SPY at the open, I'm going, uh-oh, game over. Right? Uh-oh, game over. Nope. First move in a trap is First move in a trap is the trap side. Every time. Unbelievable. People can't see what they can't see. You can't see what you can't see, man. It's hard. I get it. Again, IWM leads. I've been watching the IWM at the open, was like, huh, okay. 162s, okay. Just creeping. Yeah, going into earnings. This is the thing. If the GDP is 0.7 negative, companies are passing along inflation. They're getting it. I mean, our earnings going to be terrible. Probably not as bad. And again, I'm telling you, they're going to try to figure out a way to manufacture it. This is not 2008 where people were walking away from their houses and banks were imploding because of subprime lending. The lending standards are much stronger. Nobody, I'm in real estate. I've been in both cycles. I've been a real estate agent. Guess what? This is not anything like it. I did a whole video with a buddy of mine. This is nothing like it. Subprime, you don't hear anything about subprime because no one is doing no doc loans. No one's putting 0% down. Would you walk away from 20% down in a house that you bought in the last 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years? No. No way. And if you got an interest rate at 2.75%, lower, 3%, 4%, no, you're not selling. You're like, I'm camping up here for a while, y'all. No. If anything, you're trying to like sell your house with the assumable loan. Pound the table. Look at this. IWM, about to go green. Dow, about to go green. Trying to teach y'all stuff, man. Anyone got any questions? Because I think, again, if you blew up your account going into this, what do we always say? The first mouse gets the trap, second gets the cheese, guaranteed. Now, if it would have gapped up, probably would have came right back. Who knows? If you were, again, the only positions I was holding overnight were commodities. Hope people will know that. Have no tech. Zero tech exposure. Now even tech's rallying. SMH green. NVIDIA green. Micron. Remember we talked about Micron? Anyone watch the recap on Tuesday? Probably not, other than the few folks who hang out. Look at that action. As other tech was making new lows, look at Micron. Roblox. Doesn't look that bearish to me. I don't know what to say sometimes other than beating the drum. Beating my head against the table trying to get people to listen. Yep, dollar low of the day. Would like to see bonds stabilize. That's all. If the bonds stabilize, market flies. Market flies. Eric, you've been around for years, buddy. I always say that. The hard thing is often the right thing to do. The hard thing to do this morning was to buy. The hard thing to do was to wait for the data. The hard thing to do is to look at the evidence blindly and not listen to everybody shouting obscenities and stupidity. Why do you think I created this room and kick people out very easily who don't start listening to those types of mentalities? Or not listen, but start implementing that. If you are influenced by people who don't win money, who do not make money in trading, do you not realize you are a culmination of the 5 people you hang out with? Your mindsets are all very similar. You probably don't own real estate. You probably don't invest wisely. You invest with your emotions. You probably do not succeed in trading. So if I hung out and chatted with people on stock twits all day, what do you think I would be thinking right now? Exactly like them. Sit around and you read the news. The market makers are what? They are the news. They are creating the news so that you mess up. right? That's the information you're taking and you're following for your trading and anticipating investment advice? Wrong, wrong, wrong. I don't know how to say this until you've been caught in these traps 1,000 times like I have. Now again, sometimes the traps are bigger than you think. Sometimes you're just wrong. It's a probability game. Yep, look at that. Nat gas. I'm sorry it doesn't bottom on the first touch. I literally did this video about... Here, I'll show you guys. Please check it out. Let me make sure you see it. Oh, wrong one. Oh, yeah. Give me 2 seconds. Back to basics. Did it not go in there? Oh, give me 2 seconds. I'll pull it up on another screen for you. Ah, man. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's not. Has tech bottomed? For the long term, absolutely not. No, it makes... Oh, that's not it. It makes total sense why the market is going higher. Because the market's meant to take the most amount of money for the most amount of people. If everybody's bearish, you got to be looking around going, uh-oh, party might be over. Now, when I say tech hasn't bottomed, I've said this a million times. Tech does not like inflation. Look at the 2000s. Tech went nowhere. Commodities went to the moon. If you are buying tech for the long term, you are going to regret it because you don't know your history. You do not know your history. I repeat, you do not. And if you want to know your history, here. I'm going to drop these in the discussion. Feel free to steal them. Use them. I don't care. I'm not scared of competition. Abundance. I believe in abundance. Check this out. Posted this sucker in November 2021. Who wins the tech war? It ain't tech. It's the inputs. You want to build out the green future? You need inputs. You want to build out this great technology future? You need inputs. It becomes a competition when inflation goes higher and their margins get thinner. Done. Anyway, I don't know what else to say sometimes. I'm going to go quiet if anyone has a question. No, it will not. No, it will not. Unless you're thinking 17 years. Man, I'm going to have to do this again. Here is the QQQ monthly. When it peaked in 2000, it took 17 years to get back to even with higher interest rates. Remember, interest rates 5, 6, 7, 8%. Right? Higher rates, higher borrowing costs, margins are thinner. Not free money, stupid money to invest. You buy tech in this part of this cycle, yeah, maybe you get back to even at some point. Now look at this mountain. You tell me you want to buy tech for the long term. You're suicidal. You're going to hate yourself. Do you remember the 2000s? Oh, maybe you're not in your 40s minimum. You didn't have friends who were working for the Nortels, the Lucents, the companies that Palm Pilot, all these tech companies that were the future, the Ciscos. Yeah, they were the future. And some of them went kaput, goodbye-bye, because technology is deflationary. It is always attacking itself, trying to find something bigger and better. Always. Tech is not the future. It is absolutely not. Cabletron, yeah, absolutely not the future. It's commodities. You want to see a green future, you're going to need inputs. You don't want to bet on the companies that create the outputs for this stuff because they are going to be fighting tooth and nail with thin margins. But people will be fighting endlessly for and overpaying for the lithium, the copper, the steel, the aluminum, whatever. They will need as much as they can literally eat to consume, and they will have to consume this to create this. This is what happens. This is why I was kind of laughing. If you studied the past, while tech went nowhere from 2003 to 2008, look at this. Look at that. Look what oil did. I mean, you can't see it. I guess the USO. Crazy. Went insane. Oil went nuts. Right? VALE. I mean, you pull up the name. They all went bonkers. Do you want to own tech? Do you want to own tech? Absolutely not. And I don't want to curse, but no. F no. This thing is already leading up. Someone knows. This monthly would not look like this strong if somebody did not think it was going higher. Remember, smart money holds the stocks up. It's not you, me, and the 5 people watching this video. No, semis are not inputs. Jesus Christ. They're commodities. They're literally become a commodity of tech. Go look at the SMH. Holy crap. I mean, I'm just being, I'm obviously dramatizing it, but no. No. Check this out. SMH, remember we talked about ETFs releasing at highs and lows? I mean, I guess if you wanted to buy it at 17 and ride it up to 46, not terrible. But look on the run it's made. It's the backside of the mountain. Why do you keep saying, I'm like, do not invest in tech? Oh, look at that. SPY up back to 360. First direction in a trap is the side that's trapped. Booyah, Jim. That's all. I don't know what else to say. It's so quiet. I mean, I love that I can hear a pin drop. Discord room, all the folks saying, please don't buy this morning. Just wait, just wait, just wait. Oh, I'm going to scalp it for 1 point. You literally got the trap. You literally got the trap. When you get a trap, what happens? It goes the other way for a little bit. The market makes total sense if you study the past. What will happen? Tech will continue to lag. It'll pop because it's oversold. The market will rise because commodities are going higher. People will invest. Remember, money is not destroyed. It's all right. I said it at the beginning, Smiley. I'll do it for you since you're asking and you're new. Money is not destroyed. It rotates. GDP, negative 0.7%. Inflation rising. Demand is still there and holding on to commodities. Tech, not so much. You have to be thoughtful about how a bear market works. At the lows, when everyone's freaking out, a bear market rallies. It's a trader's market. Right? At the highs, every time we rally and everything seems like it's good, you have to be looking to sell. I didn't sell anything at the open, y'all. I just added. Why? Because the evidence said it's a trap. How do you know it's a trap? Because I've been in these traps hundreds of times. When this sentiment, everybody's bearish at the lows, you got to be scared. Just like at the highs. You ever been in a stock and it's like everyone thinks it's going higher and then all of a sudden a week later, 2 weeks later, it's down 20, 30% and you go, yeah, I told myself I'd take profits at some point, but now I just started believing what everyone else believed, and at that point, I lost. You have to think about that. And again, in a trader's market, because that's what a bear market is, right? Leadership changes, certain stocks go back to where they started or die, and new leadership emerges. Along that way, there is trading, up and down, up and down. Right? No, again, a bear market is a trader's market, so you have to be a contrarian. Now, again, before that, yes, you could go with the flow. Feds are pumping money in. Free checks, stimulus checks left and right. I mean, that was the blow off top. Does that make sense? why that was? Just like the extremes at the lows. Everybody's bearish and nothing could go right. Well, think about at the highs. If everything seems perfect, think about Tesla. I mean, people don't realize how I called the top in Tesla. Very simple. I said, this is the candle. I always say this in the video. This is the candle that changed everybody who said, well, the company doesn't really make money. They just live off of tax credits. I don't know. They're not that great. This is the candle that convinced everybody that it could never go lower. Followed up by a doji, game over. Then you saw it on the daily. And again, if this is new to you, enjoy this. This is what a top looks like. A straight line move. Flip this upside down, it would be a bottom. And again, that's how the bear market will end. There will be a straight line down move. Since then, dead money. Dead money. That's cool. Held the lows. Should. Again, just trying to help y'all. So. Any questions? Because, it's like, look at the SPYs back to 361, the next resistance. EQT up 77 cents. CF probably up what? Yeah, almost $4. How long will the market rally last? Great question. What did we talk was the repeating? Oh, I didn't even show you. Sorry, I didn't switch screens. Here, let me go back to Tesla daily. This is how we knew the top. Straight line move. My bad. That's a blow off top. That's when you got to be selling. Flip it upside down. That's when you'd be buying. What did we say was the repeating pattern? Said this about a dozen times. If you watch and you subscribe. If you're not subscribed, well, great. Then you don't know. Said this repeating pattern. 1 pop, 2 pop, chop, pop, and then a slightly higher high to trick people. 1, 2, 3. We're coming back up. I think we'll make 390s. Sounds crazy. I don't know how they're going to get there. I don't know how. But this action, very similar to this candle right here. I know they're not the same color, but same thing. Took out the lows, came right back. 80 points down, 80 points down, repeating pattern, oversold. Everybody thought the world was going to end, but look what happened after it popped, y'all. That's when you got the freaking blood. Gaps. Look at those big gaps, big drops, big smash. If you were a bear, you want to pop. How long will the DXY flow off the top? I'll get that in a second. Is this clear? I've been screaming this in the videos recently. Like I anticipated. Now again, the CPI data came in line. This action, everybody, it's almost again, the market maker can't take your money, y'all. You have to give it to them. If you short and sold at the lows today, you gave them the money. They painted the picture to get you to scare and run off the cliff with the lemmings. That's what they do. And if you stopped out and bought back in, that's what you can do too. Does all this make sense? Does this make sense? Some sort of repeating pattern where you make a slightly higher high off of the lows, confuse everybody, then the beatdown. What do I always say? The best market moves are when everybody's out of position because then everybody chases. If everybody's anticipating the market to dump, you got to be sitting there going, all right, every idiot I know is shorting. Do the idiots ever win? If 95% of traders fail, do these people, are they the ones who you should be following and doing what they're doing? The answer is obviously no. 0. You should not be following them. Does that make sense? It has to be. It has to be crystal clear. Because look at this. This is what a trap looks like. We talk about traps, right? Maybe it's this candle. I don't know. Trap, but it was at least 3, 4, 5 days up. Minimum. Maybe it's just the 20-day. We don't know. Maybe it's just the 20. I don't know. But for anyone not to buy the dip in the names that are the strongest, it didn't make sense. They were showing you strength. They were absolutely showing you strength. And again, I appreciate the people listening and following, because again, if I can help one person, that's all that matters to me. Because when I was getting beaten up and learning, somebody had the thoughtfulness to realize, like, that guy really wants it. I'm going to help him. If you have that same type of mentality that you will fight tooth and nail to learn the markets, you do not get a basketball and become a great NBA basketball player. No, you have to put in the work. Same thing in trading. You got to know. You got to know that you know. Anyway, it just makes me emotional sometimes to think about that, because you have to, like, failure is just not an option. Your risk management, your desire to first be risk averse and also cut losses when you're wrong is again, you can be a terrible trader, but if you don't lose a lot of money, you sustain, you'll figure it out. That has to be number one. Any more questions? If not, I'm going to go back and just hang out in the Discord room. I think the day is done. Probably going to paddle some folks that were like, why didn't I buy at the bottom? It's like, okay, well, I guess you weren't looking for the repeating pattern. Again, the universe, whether you believe it or not, maybe some people feel like evil always wins, whatever, I don't care. You have to give to get. By helping people, you put yourself on a vibrational plane to attract abundance. I have always thought that. Whether that's religion or not, I don't know. I'm not a religious person. I do believe that it is a vibrational universe, though. And if you do good things typically happen. Now, bad things happen to good people. It's just like probabilities. Sometimes you can be wrong. Just like trading. When you try to do the right things, you will succeed more times than not. Think about how anybody got to anywhere that was hard or difficult. They didn't try once and give up when they failed. They didn't just try and then every mistake get whiny and pout and not learn from it. No, if you want to be the best at anything, your first mindset is that you will not let yourself fail and you will not quit. You spend 30 minutes, an hour a day studying this stuff. I don't care if you're full-time, part-time. You will start to see the market much, much more different, totally different. But if you hang out on StockTwits, Twitter, read all these financial newspapers, I say this all the time. If economists knew how to trade, they'd all be billionaires. Again, the market is not the economy is not the market. The goal of the market is to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. If you know that, and that's your starting point, you can work your way into figuring it out. Any last questions? Any particular charts? Any thoughts? Because again, if this helps one person, it was well worth it. There you go. UNG held the lows again. Things that aren't bearish. If you got caught, watch the video on traps. Think about the sentiment. All the lemmings like running off the cliff. Like that's what happens. The most emotions. Everyone's the most fearful, the most excited at inflection points. Most times than not. Again, because there's no certainty in trading. That's the hardest thing. But 90% of the time, 80% of the time, I'm trying not to be emotional. I'm just emotional because I'm hoping this helps somebody. Because this morning I was like talking to myself in the Discord room and I was just amazed how I think the people who know that they know weren't around, they're just trading it. But the people who need the most help, I'm like, I feel for you because I've been there. The market just makes you think everything is ending right now, right then. And then what turns right around. Because you weren't focused on what was actually important. You were just focused on what? The reaction. All right, I'm signing off, y'all. Be safe out there. If you're trying to get in the Discord room and you are struggling, you want to learn. Again, this is not me just giving answers. This is you struggling and battling to get better because we're all different. I don't mind sharing a Discord room. It's just I got tired of the people thinking that I'm Jim Cramer and that I can answer your question. Hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Hey, would you buy it now? No, that's not the goal. The goal is for you, and I say this again, I'll do this. The goal of this room is to have Because again, if 95% of people fail, maybe 50 to 100 people that know that they know. And when I'm out of town, you're out of town, you're going to hang out with your kids, you're going to hang out with your wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and you're making plans, and you can say, well, I have this position, this is what it's been, I got people watching for me, awesome. That's the goal. People have your back. People that you trust, not CNBC, not StockTwits, not anywhere else. And I will always be vigilant to make sure that the people that are in there know that they know, because there's very little that do. They're still learning, but when they post stuff that I don't think is correct, I apologize if I come off aggressive or mean, but it's like, you're being wrong. If you're wrong, you know when you know that you know. All right. Talk to y'all later. Please be safe. Appreciate the love, support, donations, all that stuff. It means a lot to me because I give a lot of my time and effort to try to help people. And I apologize if I'm not perfect, but I will never be mad at anybody who tries to give me their best insights with the best intentions, because I know it's a probability game. You will be wrong too. I will be wrong. You have to understand that, and you have to accept it. Talk to you later.